Boise Pride over the weekend canceled their drag kids after receiving death threats.
In a statement, Zions Bank, the first sponsor to pull from the event, saying they previously supported the Pride Festival as it is an important way to support LGBTQ employees, but they committed to sponsorship before they were aware of the children's activities.
Idaho Power, meantime, today issuing a statement saying they pulled due to programming changes after they signed on as sponsors, but say they, quote, continue to support our diverse communities.
The latest to withdraw involvement, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare pulled support from Project Filter and the Idaho HIV, STD, and Hepatitis Prevention Care Program. The department saying they support LGBTQ plus Idahoans, but this year's Pride event has caused confusion over whether the department endorses activities involving minors.
The event will have an increased private security presence this year. Boise police will also be on hand at the event, as they are at any large downtown gathering. As is standard procedure, they've worked with organizers to develop security plans and address any concerns. Safety, a community concern, and police ask if you see something, say something so they can properly respond.
Organizers of this weekend's Boise Pride event in Idaho had to cancel a half-hour Drag Kids event after the producers started receiving death threats. Idaho Republican Party chairwoman Dorothy Moon said that the Pride event's sponsors were, quote, financing the sexualization of our children and the perverse idea that children should engage in sexual performances with adult entertainers, end quote. The party's official Twitter page reflected similar views. The state GOP also encouraged people to pressure the festival's corporate sponsors. Boise Pride wrote a statement defending the event, saying that the Drag Kids performance is a celebration of self-expression and confidence. Pride organizers stated that children have performed in different Pride events before, which builds their confidence, and it is a form of creative expression for them. Even the festival president, Michael Dale, said that the level of opposition he saw against the event is far from normal. The 5 children who had signed up to perform had said they still wanted to perform irrespective of the drama surrounding the show. However, Boise Pride canceled the event and hired extra security concerning the well-being of the kids and the safety of all the Pride attendees. Child-friendly drag shows have become a political issue nationwide as Republicans have increasingly accused drag performers and LGBTQ educators of sexualizing children. Well, very strange issue going on. Well, one of my first questions related to this is, would it be offensive in the LGBTQ community? Idaho is Idaho, first of all. Boise is Boise. Yeah. It's the panhandle of Florida, and maybe even worse in terms of its perspective of progressive thinking, LGBT embracement, etc. Do you find it offensive if I advocate in the opposite, in exploring this? What the hell was Boise Pride thinking of doing an event like this? Is that, even that question, offensive? What do you think about? They shouldn't have done it.
It's not offensive to me because it's in my mind, when you create a nonprofit event like a Pride event, and I have to give you my history. I helped run the gay rodeo here for 7 years. We raised money for children's events.
I love the gay rodeo.
Well, everyone did, except the people who wanted to sponsor us. But that's a different story. Right. But the point is that in the event, we made sure that while we were sponsoring children's events, we didn't get too strange with the kids. And I don't mean strange in a weird way. I'm just like, we wanted to make this as family friendly as possible, so we would not have the politicians screaming at us. Not that we wouldn't like the television coverage of that, but we went out of our way to say, where's that sweet spot where we win, we make as much money as we can, we entertain people as much as we can, and we raise money for the kids, because this is about raising money. It's not about
And your
politics.
point is you don't think Boise did that?
I don't think Boise did that. I think by having that one little event, they've kind of soured the rest of the event, and now they've put it on the map for trouble. You know, now you have to have extra security. You're in Idaho, where gun carrying laws are different, and the right to carry guns, concealed weapons, is evident.
And let me ask the question in another way, and I feel obligation to help propel at least the examination of this. In the environment of 2022, with what the Republicans are doing, approaching a midterm election, using groomers as the catchphrase in America, why would Boise Pride fall prey?
How did they miss out on the news? How did they not seen what was happening in all these,
How did they not know their audience?
Well,
You hear me say that all the time. You know, you hear me say this all the time. It's like, why are we engaging in the fight? Because what it is it's us saying that we're right. We're going to do whatever we want to do because we're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere. And I get that mentality, but right now is not the time when you're putting yourself in danger. And then on top of that, you're bringing bad press to a conversation that we can have, but it doesn't need to be had like this. And we are falling prey to using children as a pawn in a sick game, really. Well, and if I have to be like hard on, we have to be smarter than that.
And the fact that this festival happened so late in the season, when all these other prides and the drag queen reading hours, all these things have been interrupted. How did they miss that? That's an important question.
They weren't reading the room.
No,
no. But I have to say, anything they do, they're trying to dehumanize us. They're trying to degrade us. They're trying to...
Right, but don't give them the ammunition to sit there and make it something that it's not. These children in drag queens are not necessarily sexualized. They can be, but a lot of it is comedy. A lot of it is...
But what about Halloween?
Entertainment.
I mean, they dress up for Halloween.
I get that, but that's not the point here.
Okay.
Because it's a gay event. We're grooming.
I believe that was a CBS report in Boise, and I cringed through that report. Regardless of which side you are, there's two sides. The other side clearly is a ridiculous position. But I cringed because you can feel and read between the lines the Zion Bank going, you know, we support diversity, but we can't support
it's
this.
Bad media public.
And we can't be involved in a situation where the optics of this, there's nothing wrong with it, nothing.
No.
But the optics of this in the current environment means, can we not have a Pride Festival and not do this? And that sponsor is saying, well, we can't participate then if you're not willing to make those choices.
And you've also challenged next year's and the years after and the year after.
Because unless you prove that you're not going to be
Well, it's also, I agree they made a mistake in judgment, but it's a slippery slope to, then saying, it's not about trans anymore. It's not about this. It's about the spectrum of gay people. Well, we don't think Pride should exist at all.
No,
and then the next thing is,
I absolutely hear what you're saying, but that's exactly where we're missing the mark. We're missing the mark because there's children involved, and everyone and their mothers are very sensitive about minors. And it's not just LGBTQ, it's all minors across the board. So we as stewards, as adults, as a society of civilized human beings who protect children, we have to think like that. And we have to then put the safety of children. I don't agree that there is sexualization happening, but again, not the topic. The point is why did we choose to be and press and feature children in drag?
It was a bad idea.
Why do we put the target on our asses?
I agree with you.
And I think you got to it in the first sentences, and it's something that our community has to examine because we want to.
Yes.
And if we want to, we have to accept all of the consequences of our want.
But we also have to remember that in our growth as a community, in our political growth, in our personal growth, this is a business as much as it is anything else, and we have to think about the optics of how it shows. We have to talk. We have to be consistent with our language. When we talk about gay marriage, it's not about the religious aspects of marriage. It's about the human aspects, hospitalization visits, medical. So we have to think about that with children too.
But they're lying about us. They're saying that we are.
So don't give them any more. Don't give them any more ammunition, and continue the conversation.
You know, it's
to prove
interesting
it.
to the point, because I agree with Josie. I'm hearing the observation you're making. I talk about, I give an illustration about pedophiles. We have fought for 40 years that gay men are pedophiles. We have fought that stereotype. Anita Bryant until the pie in the face. We fought, we're pedophiles, we're pedophiles, we're pedophiles. And then we have fought that it's a lie. It is a complete lie.
Right.
And how we fought that lie was statistical fact. In the 98 to 99% of all pedophile incidents in America are straight
men.
Heterosexual.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but that does not mean that we can't or we can stop fighting it, because the misrepresentation keeps being said over and over and over, and we fight it with facts and more here and come along with us. That's the point that you're making.
But how do you fight the demonization?
Well, first, you don't do the event.
Right. You don't
In
feed them
this
the
environment,
ammunition.
at this.
Okay, let's put that aside and say, okay, it was a bad idea to do the kids drag, right? But how do you fight the demonization of the groomer label and the pedo label? How do you fight that directly?
You win elections.
Right.
We get out and focus on what's really important.
But not only that, you prove the good things that we are as a community. You point out how normal we are. We just like with the Lizzo story, where there's room at the table for all of these shows. We have
Right.
shows that talk about regular lives.
You know, South Florida Boys of Leather used to do Kids in Distress, the annual
donated
Christmas.
money.
Yeah.
Right.
But you didn't have children lined up in leather.
No.
No, we did a puppet show for them, but
But that's a different story.
that's true.
Drag is certainly an issue. We're fighting right along with Our House, for example, here in South Florida.
Yes.
There are some good stories about drag.
Yeah.
You tell us one of them. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.